The subway was already too warm for late October. I remember that first, not his voice. The air felt heavy, recycled, thick with perfume and metal and something faintly electrical. I was 9 months pregnant and carrying all my weight forward like a question no one wanted to answer. My ankles had disappeared weeks ago. My lower back felt permanently misaligned. When the train lurched out of the station, I was grateful to be seated. He was standing in front of me, one hand gripping the pole, scanning the car the way he always did, alert, assessing, faintly impatient. His mother stood beside him. We had met her at the previous stop. She had insisted on taking this train instead of waiting for the next one. There were no empty seats left. I didn't look up immediately. I had learned that looking up sometimes invited correction. It came anyway. Get up, he said under his breath. I thought I'd misheard him. What? My mother is standing. The words weren't loud yet. I glanced at her. She wasn't frail. She wasn't unstable. She held the pole comfortably, her handbag tucked beneath her arm. She didn't ask me to move. She didn't look at me at all. I can't stand long, I said quietly. My back. His hand closed around my forearm. Not violently, but firmly enough to remind me how easily I could be repositioned. Don't you dare sit when my mother is standing. This time it wasn't quiet. The carriage fell into a kind of suspended stillness. The subtle hum of conversation dissolved. I became aware of how close strangers were. How many of them were watching without wanting to be seen watching. He pulled me up, my balance shifted too quickly. The baby pressed against my ribs. I reached for the pole and caught it just in time. My heart beating harder than it should. His mother lowered herself into the seat without hesitation. No modest refusal. Just smooth acceptance. I stood swaying with the motion of the train, one hand gripping the metal bar, the other instinctively resting on my stomach as if I could shield the baby from embarrassment. I told myself it was cultural. Respect. Hierarchy. I told myself it was temporary. But beneath that rationalization was something older and colder. I was last. In that moment, I understood it with painful clarity. In the ranking of needs, of comfort, of priority, I was last. The train rattled toward the next station. No one moved. No one spoke. Then a voice from across the aisle cut through the quiet. Let her sit. 3 words. Not theatrical. Simply placed. I looked up. An older woman, silver hair pulled back, grocery bag resting at her feet, met my husband's eyes steadily. Her posture was straight despite her age. She wasn't trembling or outraged. Just certain. He laughed lightly, dismissively. It's fine, it's family. The woman didn't argue. She didn't repeat herself. Instead, she reached beside her seat and pulled the emergency assistance strip near the subway door. The train began slowing at the next station. A few passengers exchanged glances now. Something had shifted, not explosively, but unmistakably. Silence had broken its contract. When the doors opened, a transit officer stepped into the car. Standard uniform. Neutral expression. Is there a problem here? Before I could say anything, the older woman answered. This pregnant woman was forced out of her seat. Her tone was factual. No embellishment, no accusation beyond the truth. The officer looked at me. Ma'am. I felt my husband's eyes on me. Not pleading, warning, I could smooth it over. Say it was a misunderstanding. Say I stood up voluntarily. My throat felt dry. I was asked to stand. I said carefully. I'm 9 months pregnant. The officer nodded once. I need you and your mother to step off the train for a moment. His face changed, not to rage but to disbelief. The kind that comes when someone who is used to being deferred to realizes the system does not recognize his private rules. This is ridiculous, he muttered. It's a seat. Step off, please. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. He hesitated just long enough for the moment to become visible to everyone. Then he stepped off. His mother followed, lips pressed thin. The doors remained open as they were spoken to on the platform. I couldn't hear the words. Only see gestures, the officer's steady stance, my husband's clipped movements. Behind me someone touched my elbow. Sit, a young man said, already rising from his seat. This time, no one argued. I lowered myself carefully. My legs trembled, not from fear exactly, but from the aftershock of standing too long when I shouldn't have been standing at all. The older woman gave me a small nod. Not triumphant. Not indulgent. Just acknowledgement. When the train doors closed again, my husband was still on the platform. He caught the next train. He didn't yell when he got home. That would have been easier to categorize. Instead, he was controlled. You embarrassed me, he said. You made it public. I waited for him to ask if I had felt dizzy. If I had been in pain. He didn't. It wasn't public until you made it public. I replied quietly. He shook his head. You could have just handled it. Handled it. Like I had handled so many small corrections before. Adjust your tone. Don't contradict her. Let it go. That night, lying in bed, I felt the baby shift again. Strong, insistent. At my next prenatal appointment, I went alone, in the waiting room. I sat without scanning the space for who might need the chair more. I sat because I needed to sit. When the nurse handed me the hospital paperwork for delivery planning, I filled it out slowly. Emergency contact. His name was already printed there from previous visits. I stared at it longer than necessary. I didn't cross it out that day. But I didn't ignore the hesitation either. Some changes are loud. Others begin as a pause over a line of ink. I left the clinic walking carefully. One hand on my stomach, the other free. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel invisible. I felt observed, by strangers, by authority, by myself.